How's everybody doing? Okay, we are going to now do part two of incompatibility of signs, Scorpio and Scorpio, a Scorpio man and a Scorpio woman. Okay, this is not gonna take long because, like I mentioned, that you know, well, actually, what I will mention, which I didn't mention in part one, is that some people ask me, well, wait a minute, water and water is compatible, so how could it be that it is incompatible? Why should it be in the category of incompatibility of signs? And that's a very good question. So I'm going to answer that. See, and I need to answer that by first making a statement that just because a sign is the same, just because you're dating someone or having a relationship with someone that's the same sign as you, doesn't mean that there's compatibility. There are certain signs that there is compatibility with dating of the same sign, and there are signs that are not. So I think what I'm going to do in this segment is that I'm going to mention from Aries to Pisces the signs that do pair as far as compatible and those that don't pair that are considered incompatibility of signs. So with Aries and Aries, we consider that fire, fire, double cardinal. Okay, now it doesn't work. In classical traditional astrology, it would not be considered compatible. Taurus and Taurus would be considered compatible, believe it or not. Because both Taurians, if they reach a common goal, if they work towards a common goal, they can rely on each other codependently to derive or to reach that goal. And that can allow them to work together. Because Taurus is very stubborn. The opposite is Scorpio. But if they find a common ground in which they can harness their resources together, that could be the impetus to make the relationship take a direction where it can become meaningful, because now they need each other to survive or to exist, or both of them need each other's resources so they can reach where they need to be and be a level of material comfort that suits each particular's comfortability. Because with Taurus, it's all about the level of comfortability that you feel that makes you feel comfortable in your environment. If there isn't a level of comfortability in your environment as a Taurus or a Scorpio, then you're not going to be happy in your environment. Which is why Scorpios and Tauruses can be very kind of tyrannical in the home, protective and dictatorial, because they want things to flow a particular way according to the routine. Remember, because Taurus and Scorpio is about routine that they set up. Once that's set up, no one can fuck that up. Otherwise, you're going to have to get out of that household, that belongs to Scorpio and Taurus. Now, these are fixed signs. That's the fixity nature. And know that you see that fixity nature come out into fruition when they are establishing a routine that involves the day-to-day functions of life. Washing dishes, doing laundry, doing the groceries, putting away the groceries, balancing the checkbook, all those minutiae, the mundane of the daily existence. Those things have to come into harmony in order for the routine to be respected by both Tauriances. So most likely it would, because the common goal is peace. Remember, it's ruled by Venus. So at the end of the day, they're going to strive for peace. So Taurus and Taurus is compatible. Aries and Aries, incompatible. Gemini and Gemini is considered compatible. Is considered compatible, even though Geminis can go in totally separate directions, because who can contain air? No one can contain air. Air can seep through stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but Gemini and Gemini together, it does work. It can work because they understand and they understand their need for variety and diversity, and even a certain degree of changeability, and probably too much adaptability. But the one thing that a Gemini cannot handle is loneliness, being alone. So two Geminis together that can find a way to coexist is actually a good thing. That actually can work. It allows both of them to be who they are in separate worlds apart. But the home base, they're together and they can satisfy that need to search for their other twin. When we talk about Gemini and the compatibility, I'm going to go into that. Gemini search for the eternal twin that's missing. That's the issue with Gemini. But incompatibility, Gemini and Gemini actually kind of do well together. Cancer and Cancer also do well together. Because again, when both Cancer is not a Cancer woman is not going to get with you unless you are about something and you can foster security and foster survival. And if the Cancer doesn't see that potential in you coming from the other side, they're not going to latchkey onto you either. So both these signs can also work together to reach a common goal. So those are considered compatible. Leo and Leo, not compatible. Nope. Leo and Leo, not compatible. It will fall under the incompatibility of signs. And for me to really tell you that, you will understand when I do the video of Leo and Leo, down the series. Remember, it's 144 combinations, so I will get to Mr. Leo. So Leo, so far no one has requested a Leo to Leo, but that I will explain that dynamic then when I do that video. But yeah, Virgo and Virgo compatible. They can work well together. Even amongst their four types and the different shadows and darkness that can be portrayed in Virgo, there is just still an intrinsic trust. Once that trust is there, they can be as Machiavellian as they want and still use their commonality as a home base, like Cancer and like Gemini, like and Taurus. Okay, and Libra usually incompatible. Incompatible. Not because there's anything wrong with the woman in this instance. It would be with the male. It would be with the male. Yep. He's the one that is probably the one that may not be in balance and may need to be brought into balance. But I would say most likely that the woman will probably be more balanced than the male, and that the balancing will be required from the male's part versus the woman. Scorpio and Scorpio, are they compatible or incompatible? The answer is incompatible for the reasons that I described in part 1 of the series, of the segment. Sag and Sag, incompatible. Capricorn and Capricorn, compatible. Aquarius and Aquarius, incompatible. And Pisces and Pisces, incompatible. Now, just because they're incompatible doesn't mean that it may not work if you meet someone that's a Pisces, or let's say Sag and Sag. But understand that the nature already, as documented through the ancients, is that because they both require their freedom, and because Scorpio has a need to control, and he needs to sabotage that which he cannot control so he can control it, it doesn't lend for a harmonious union or fusion. And I think we want to be in a relationship because we want to be happy with the person that we're with, and we want to live in harmony with the person that we elect to be with. It's impossible for that to happen if there's a constant crisis looming in the horizons, or if we look for a crisis to occur. And with these signs, it's more likely that they look for crisis, because crisis becomes the fuel to fuel the relationship. to get whatever need satisfaction they need to fulfill in the relationship. They're going to fuel a crisis. And Scorpio, that they function and they feel like vampires from that crisis. you know, and it can devastate the other partner if he's not strong or weak enough. But that's not going to be a concern for Scorpio. So understand that the idealism of compatibility with a Scorpio has to really be thought out. Oh no, no, no! It has to be thought out because let me tell you, Scorpio is a law unto his own being, you know? And if you really do love this person, you have to already make a commitment to yourself going in that you're willing to put up with a certain degree of discomfort in your day-to-day existence, and that you're going to find an outlet or a way to circumvent that discomfort, and that you're going to have to find a way to really get to know who this man is and work to infiltrate him from without, which means that you really can't be off guard when you are with a Scorpio in a relationship, man or woman. They've already studied you without you knowing. So you are already at a disadvantage. So doesn't it behoove you to study them? And the best way that you can study them is by doing nothing. And then taking some time to show weakness and see what they do with it. Then flip it and show your strength and see what they do with it. You have to see with Scorpio, because Scorpios, they are never going to tell you anything. They're going to show you. And that's really where the sting of the Scorpion lies, is that they don't really go into a conversation about what they're going to do. They just do it. That is really the best example. They're not going to tell you, they're going to show you. So in that same psychology, you have to also learn to counterattack using that same tactic. If a Scorpio comes to you with an argument, the best way to diffuse a Scorpio who's about to enter into a tirade, because remember, he needs to feed off the energy that he provokes the rackets around him. And he doesn't really care who he uses. And what means to do it, and what it causes at the end result to anybody else. It's all about to create an impact and feed off the energy and then keep on going, regardless of what's left behind. So you have to be smarter than that. No, you have to do what I do with my Scorpio over 10 years. Either when he's heading that way, when he wants to fight and cause like that, I just walk out of the room or I ignore him completely. Because there cannot be any fire if you're not putting wood onto it, or if you're not lighting a match or putting lighter fluid. And Scorpios cannot engage if in order for you to control a Scorpion when he comes that way, do not react to him. Do not react to what he does. Do not react to what he says. Do not allow him or her to plunge you into an argument, because then they got you. And it's not about, the justification, the right or wrong about the argument in the first place. It's not even about that, which is what's fucked up. It's about just getting a reaction out of you and feeding off that energy while you're left exhausted and perplexed, fucked up, confused. What happened? It's like emotional battery. Understand what this man or woman, what they do. And and it's the nature of the sign. No judgment. But if you want a heads up and want to be prepared, you're going to have to be an amateur psychologist to handle a Scorpio. Or he or she's going to handle you. And you're never going to see it coming. Just like the actual scorpion. When a scorpion is in the room, he's going to know that you're not aware. The scorpion will hide. No, this is a true story. The scorpion will already know and detect your heat energy. So he's going to know the rapid beat of your heart just by looking at your heat sensory from their eyes. He's going to watch when you go to sleep. Your aura and the electrical energy and the heat that you get from your body becomes a different color vibration with the scorpion senses. When he sees that, he knows that you are asleep. Then he comes out and goes into the bed, and that's when he stings you. And you die paralyzed in your sleep. So the scorpion already knows you. And you don't even know he's in the room. He already knows who you are, how you wait, your energy, your temperature, and will wait until you go to sleep to come out and attack. Yes, that is true. The scorpion of the Sahara. Oh yes, and there are 3 types of scorpions. There's the red scorpion, there's the white scorpion, and there's the black, the white, and the red scorpions in the Sahara. Look it up. And all of them are distinctly different, and each carry a neurotoxin that will kill you from here to, they're different. And those defines the 3 different psychologies of the scorpion and how he can come at you. So don't take your relationship with a Scorpio lightly. Don't take it lightly, because these people are sorcerers, magicians, magus, witches. I mean, the whole nine. And they're good. Oh, God, they're good. They're fascinating human beings. They really are. I gotta take a drink for this one. I have to take a drink for this one. Ooh, my brandy. Oh, God, so strong. Ooh. I know, it's not that much either. But I just couldn't do it, It's 3:30 in the morning, Ooh. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. I know, because the video is almost over. But I had to explain the different dynamics of the same signs and the compatibility, because I didn't want that to continue to come up. So I figured, let me all just hit it all in one shot, So now you'll understand and now you'll know, okay? All right. So now, again, we're going to talk about a couple of pointers, because there's not really that much to say, okay, when it comes to Scorpio and Scorpio, other than the fact that they fall under the category of incompatibility of signs. And again, that doesn't mean that they cannot make it work. In fact, they're going to have to work extra hard to make it work, because of the fact that both of them are one of them is going to try to dominate the other. And that's something that doesn't have to be obvious or overt, but it is the reality, of the situation. Okay, a Scorpio relationship, once defined by the couple, will act as a functional unit towards a common goal, which it could be for good or for bad. So what I'm saying here in this point is that once the couples decide how they're going to relate to each other, then they're going to decide how they're going to function as a unit, as a Scorpio and as a Scorpio. And they're going to pair up, and they can either become angels or demons and do good or do bad together as a couple. They can become a killer couple, like you read in 23rd ID, the channel, or Snap, the killer couples. There could be a killer couple, or there can be redeeming angels. Okay? Passion, magnetism, and raw sexuality will define the attraction and an understanding of the complex inner nature will allow person, each partner, to experience their own turbulence, experience their own judgment towards each other. They will most probably be most loyal to each other. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying here in the second paragraph is that once they go through the tried and true, and they go through the trials and tribulations that they put on each other because they're going to test each other, then when they pass that and they survive that, then they can feel trustworthy to work as a team and together as a unit. They're going to test each other and try each other. Okay. The danger of a Scorpio combination is that of codependence based on each other's fears. So if they are afraid, they can capitalize on each other's weaknesses and fears and make their relationship a codependent relationship based on their own fears. Okay, isolation and suspicion can be displayed by one partner while the other acts dismissively, thus adding to the frustration of the other. Okay, so that could be one tactical role play that could occur between one partner, where one partner abuses the other by accenting their own inadequacy, and then the person stating to the one who's doing the abuse that they are being abused, and then the person who's abusing being dismissive. And like a sadomasochist relationship, which can occur very easily between two Scorpios, especially if one is determined as weaker than the other. Okay. They can become obsessive with one another and tend to control and they tend to control and be deceptive to each other. Okay. And to be deceptive and controlling to those around them. Okay. They could be so wrapped up to each other, with each other, that they won't even welcome friends around. They'll push friends and people close to them away from them. Okay, control and power will be a constant concern. They can play on or against each other's weaknesses for any little slight that they may experience together. So any slight jealousy which can occur can cause them to kind of go into an abusive tirade against each other. A Scorpio combination is rare, but it does happen to work. It will be much If it does happen to work, it will be with much fits and starts. It's not going to be smooth sailings. Scorpios can hide their true self from others, but not a Virgo nor another Scorpio. We can see right through them regardless of how hard they try to hide. Not from a Virgo or not from another Scorpio, which is very true. So if you're going to be with a Scorpio, he's going to have to want to become vulnerable. Because if he's not vulnerable, then again he's going to be perceived as weak, and it's not like you're going to be able to hide anything from your partner who's another Scorpio. Okay, they're going to see right through. You're going to see right through each other, and you're going to have to decide whether you're going to play on each other's weaknesses that you see within each other, or play to each other's strengths, and then work together as a team, as a power couple, to like an Obama and Michelle and Barack Obama, and will actually work together towards a common goal. If one gets to dominate another Scorpio, it can get ugly and deadly very fast. Okay, and this can be a very dark signature indeed. Where Scorpio can be at its worst, and it can be demonic and diabolical just because it can do it if it perceives that another Scorpio is weaker. And that's something that one has to be able to fight to. You have to want to evolve and suppress the darker part of you that could destroy someone if it's introduced too early. And we're done with Scorpio and Scorpio.